Hi, welcome to It's a High Raw Life, episode number 94. Today I'm sharing with you one of my new favorite dessert recipes that you can eat any time of the day, but it makes a really lovely dessert or with a cup of tea or whatever. I call it Crustless apple strudel because that's how it came about. I was trying to figure out how to make an apple strudel without a lot of fuss, frankly. I didn't want to make like a whole wrap in the dehydrator and roll it up. So this is what I came up with. I take about a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half of organic sun-dried raisins, and then I soak them in a little bit of water and drain them. I use 2 apples, so if it's just for me, you know, this might be an extra large serving, but this is enough for 2 servings, and you could totally double, triple this recipe without any issues. I use about a tablespoon and a half of walnuts, that's it, and really you can leave it out if you want. Let's get started and I'll tell you the rest. So we're just going to peel, core, and dice up your apples, okay? I really prefer Granny Smith, but that's not what I had today. I had these. I don't remember what they are. They were organic and they were on sale, so I bought them. So you're just going to dice them up. Your choice on size. But you want to have a few bits of apple and the raisins and stuff in each bite. Once you have your apples diced up, go ahead and transfer them to a bowl. And then you're going to sprinkle them with just 1/8 of a teaspoon of sea salt. Not a lot, but you know, in most desserts, even baked one, there's usually a little bit of salt in there to help combine flavors. But the salt's going to do double duty here. You're going to sprinkle just this tiny amount, 1/8 of a teaspoon, and just toss it around. Now, while you're getting the rest of your ingredients together, you're just going to let this sit. And the salt is going to draw some of the moisture out of the apple. Okay? So go ahead and get your raw honey, get your cinnamon, get your walnuts, drain your raisins if you haven't already, and in a couple of minutes, we'll throw it all together. So my apples have been sitting with the salt for, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes. If you have 20, let them sit 20. It's not going to be soaking wet, but it starts to pull the moisture from the apples, and that'll help the cinnamon stick to it better. So now, we're just going to sprinkle in a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Kind of want to dust it, you know, so it's a little even. And give that a good stir. Try to coat it as evenly as possible. You'll be stirring it more when you add in the raisin, so don't worry, it'll get coated. Smells so good. Apples and cinnamon are so perfect together. Of course you can get fancy and add other spices, but like I said, this is my no fuss. Okay, so I have my 1.5 tablespoons of raisins, which I soaked for a while. You don't have to soak them. The reason I do that is because then they get this sort of plump and not as chewy, and they're a little bit juicier, and then it's almost like a cooked, you know, like how it would be in a apple strudel. And you don't need a ton because that's a lot of sugar, you know, in the raisin, but you can add more if you want to. Okay, and then we're just going to drizzle in 1/2 teaspoon of raw honey. Also optional, totally don't even need this if you don't want it. Okay, so we're just going to drizzle that in, mix it around. The first time I made this, I used pinoli nuts, pine nuts. That was really good too. But then the next couple times I made it, I used walnuts and it tasted a little bit more traditional to me. It's only for me, I can lick my finger. If you're making it for guests, maybe don't lick your finger. But really, would they know? So give that a stir. It's alright if it's not, the honey's not on every bite. It's like a surprise if you get it on your bite, you know. Okay, that's it. Then you're just going to toss in your walnuts. It's really just a simple dessert that you don't think to do for yourself. You know, a lot of times you're like, oh, I wish I could have a treat, and you start getting crazy with all kinds of nuts and pies and cakes and various raw, delicious goodies, but that take a while and take a little bit of pocketbook money. And here we have a very simple, wholesome dessert. You could even eat it as your lunch if you wanted. And you're just going to serve it. Oh, you could serve it in a pretty martini glass or wine glass, or if you have a fancy pedestal dessert dish, that would be nice too. I just have a little bowl. Oh look, I got a haircut, you guys. First time in 3 years. I don't bother, because then it's just like this, and I have to work at that. Anyways, here it is. I'm sorry, I yammered for a minute. This is a perfect spoonful right here. It's got a raisin, a couple chunks of apple, a bite of walnut. Mmm. It's really nice. Try this. Crustless apple strudel. See you next time, and it's a high raw life.